Hi there. Have you ever felt like every single day you're grinding and hustling, but getting nowhere? No matter how hard you work, the goal you're aiming for seems to be hundreds of miles away, just out of reach. What if I told you that most of what you do each day barely moves the needle, while just a few actions, only a few, could create almost all of your success? That's the power of the Pareto Principle, better known as the 80-20th rule. The story begins in 19th century Italy. Economist Vilfredo Pareto noticed that 80% of the land was owned by just 20% of the people. He was curious and started looking deeper. He found the same pattern in other places, other fields. A small group of producers made most of the output. A few causes produced most of the results. Over time, that insight became a universal law of imbalance. Roughly 80% of outcomes come from 20% of inputs. Look around and you'll see it everywhere. In business, 20% of customers generate 80% of revenue. In sales, 20% of products drive most of the profits. Even in your personal life, a small handful of habits create most of your progress. Yet most of us spread our energy evenly. We treat every task as equal. We fill our calendars instead of focusing our impact. That's why we feel busy but not effective. The 80-20th rule challenges that. It asks, what are the few things that create the most value? And once you know, how can you amplify them? Imagine you run an online store. You analyze your sales and realize that 2 product lines bring in nearly all your income. Instead of launching 10 new items, you double down on those 2, improving marketing, inventory, and service. Suddenly your revenue doubles with half the effort. That's Pareto in action. The principle isn't about perfection, it's about focus. If you can identify your top 20%, the people, habits, or projects that truly matter, you can do less and achieve more. So here's your challenge. Look at your to-do list. Cross out 8 of every 10 tasks. Then pour your best energy into the 2 that remain. You'll be amazed at the difference. Because success isn't about doing everything. It's about finding the few things that matter most, and doing them brilliantly. Let's dive further in assessing which tasks are more valuable. Step 1. List all the tasks you do. Write down everything you spend time on. Daily tasks, weekly routines, project-specific steps. Don't filter, don't judge, just get it all out of your head and onto the page. At this stage, your only job is to collect. Step 2. Determine the output or impact of each task. Now that everything's listed, it's time to examine what those tasks actually produce. For each task, ask yourself, what happens when I complete this task? Does it directly move me closer to my goal? Could the project still succeed without it? If I did this task twice as often, would my results noticeably increase? And if I stopped doing it, what would break? These questions make it easy to spot the difference between high-impact work and busy work that only feels productive. Step 3. Use measurable criteria wherever possible. This is where objectivity helps. Rank your tasks by real, tangible metrics, things like revenue generated per hour, number of leads created, user engagement, time saved, reduction in errors, or simply percentage of progress made in a project. If you can attach even rough numbers, it becomes clear which tasks matter most, and which don't move the needle at all. Step 4. Identify the top 20% with the highest impact. These are the tasks that directly contribute to your main result. Produce the most output for the least time. Unlock progress in other areas. Have the biggest long-term payoff. And visibly move you toward your goals. These are your Pareto tasks, the few actions that generate most of your results. Examples. Sales. Your tasks might include prospecting, email follow-ups, admin work, social posts, and client meetings. But what actually produces results? Prospecting brings leads, meetings close deals. Admin and social posts are useful, but low impact. So you're 20%, prospecting, and meeting with clients. Example 2. Studying. Your tasks may include reading notes, watching videos, going to class, and doing practice problems. What produces the most learning? Practice problems and active recall. Those are your Pareto tasks. Everything else is support. A shortcut. Ask yourself 3 questions. If I could only do one task today, which one would matter most? Which tasks create progress that other tasks depend on? Which tasks generate the most output per minute of effort? The tasks that consistently rise to the top, those are your highest impact 20%. And that's how you use the Pareto principle to focus on what truly matters. You work smarter, not harder. Now make your effort count. The Pareto Principle. Do less, achieve more. Hit like and subscribe for more short videos about business and life. See you in the next video.